What's up, guys? I'm your host, Lucie, and this is Eventually It All Connects. I'm here with a good friend of mine, my brother, that he won't accept, but he's my brother in Christ. Amani Ringo.
Hello. Hi.
I have actually known him for a long time. We met at school, grew up together, was in his brother's class, and that's it. I don't know what much to say about it.
I mean, there's not much to say.
That's
We've known
it.
each other for a very, very long time. And yeah, I mean, we also church together.
We are at church
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, have the same friend groups.
Yup.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I normally ask a question with every one of my guests. And the question is, if I can find it. Okay. Is there a time in your life where you didn't know it then, but are now realizing that eventually it all connects to today?
To this moment?
Yeah. So like a time in your life where you didn't realize it when it was happening, but you're now realizing it, that eventually it all connected to today.
I'm not sure how to answer that.
Really? Like there's no point in your life like, oh my gosh, if that didn't happen, this would have not happened today, or it would have not been the way I am today, or just
No, I
something.
thought you meant like be here today, like doing this podcast.
Not doing this, I meant in life.
Okay. Okay, that makes more sense. Let's see. Yeah, definitely. There's so many things that happened that I was unsure of, and I mean, I didn't know that it would lead to me doing things that I'm doing today, being where I'm at today. Yeah. Do you want specifics?
If you want to, do you have a story? You can say
Do
a
I
story.
have a story?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a long story, but it's just too long. But
Just summarize it, basically.
just after uni, I didn't know that I would be in production. So I mean, I studied graphic design, but I didn't really work in graphic design. Came back, picked up my hobby, which was photography and videography. And one thing led to the next, and now I have a business. Yeah. So I mean, I didn't know that at the time. I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be a producer, a director, a creative director, all that. But
But you knew that you were going to go into the creative field because obviously you studied graphic design, or that was like you just strictly thought it was going to be graphic design.
honestly, I strictly thought it was just gonna. People, you study what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
But
people,
I learned after that I don't want to do that. Like as much as I enjoyed studying, but it's just I didn't want to do it. Like it wasn't a big. I still can do it. I'm still good at it, but maybe I'm not as good as people who are actually doing it,
Practicing
consistently,
and doing it, yeah.
Exactly. But
But if someone came up to you and said, hey, can you graphic design something?
yeah, logo, whatever.
Yeah.
I can, and I'll charge them.
Because not in this economy, you can't be free.
But like, it's not my thing anymore. I wouldn't say that it's my thing, or it really has ever been my thing. Yeah.
I mean, it is a part of like the creative industry, so it kind of
it's
makes
still
sense. It's not
I'm
like it's
still in
far.
the creative industry. Yeah, I'm not like way off. No, in fact, there are moments that you do use it even in photography and videography, but it's not like intense. Yeah, but you do use like you have to like maybe cut up a logo for your whatever. For your client, maybe they don't have a logo, and maybe they don't have a PNG logo, so you just go in, cut it up, design it, put it into whatever video, or my video editing software is Final Cut. So, but I'm transitioning and moving to Premiere Pro, but let's not get into all
That's a whole nother.
Yeah.
That's cool. But like, so if you look at that, you could say that's definitely a situation that like God put you in.
Yeah,
Or
like I would say that it was I cannot honestly say that I planned this. Honestly, it is God, like 100%. I did
yeah.
not plan to be in this, but
Mm.
I found myself really loving this
Mm.
field.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's
So
nice. It's nice, nice.
I will say though that God has always put creativeness inside me. Has
I mean,
always
that whole
wait,
desire, the
wait. Did I
desire
say that right?
basically.
God always has always put creativity behind me,
It
inside me.
sounds right.
Yeah. Okay.
But he's always put
It
that
sounds wrong in my head.
desire and
But yeah,
passion.
exactly.
Yeah.
I've always had that passion for creativity. Um, yeah.
That's nice. That's
Yeah.
nice, nice. But yeah, so today's topic
Mm.
is actually people. Just people in general. I mean, people, again, probably listening or watching, they're like, why would you choose that topic? But there's a
And
lot to
it's
say.
right.
There's a lot to
I'm
say.
thinking you chose this topic for me specifically because I'm people, right?
Actually, that's true.
I'm people. So just she's like, I would bet you're like, let me find a person and we'll talk about people.
No,
What
but
person? Amani.
no, it's
People.
just funny because I think okay,
Not
some of
me.
these topics I do it out of again like the Holy Spirit or whatever, but I also do
Yeah.
it out of experiences. So
Okay.
even like with
So-
this, I'm like, okay, people like experiences of people, and I'm like, wait, if I'm struggling in different areas or I am have these thoughts on just people, I'm like, there's probably other people that have these questions as well
Yeah.
about others, and just trying to figure out why others are the way that they are.
I have a question.
Mhm.
What qualifies me to talk about people? I'm genuinely curious.
Because you're wise, and we will see it today when you answer these questions. You'll be surprised.
That's very flattering, but I don't know.
You'll be very surprised.
Okay.
You wait. By the end of
Uh,
this conversation, you'll be like, wow, now I see why. But yeah, so the first question,
Mm.
it basically says, why is it sometimes easier to open up to strangers than the people closest to us? What do you think?
That's interesting because I don't think we really think too much about that. I don't think it's something that we think we do it because I'm thinking now like, yeah, that's true. I've done it before.
You've opened up to someone you barely knew.
Yeah, but like first I'm remembering maybe the vibe was, there's a way someone makes you feel.
Mm.
You feel comfortable enough to share, Whenever you're not comfortable, you won't share. Most people don't share when they're not comfortable with that
Oh, yeah.
person. But some strangers are quite warm, right? Also, there's the fact that some people that don't know you, I believe it's harder for them to really understand and judge versus someone that you actually know, right? Let's say you know like your brother, all right? Let's say you did something and it's really bad, and that this is, if anyone in my family finds out, that's my friends find out, people are just gonna look at me like, why did I mess up, but I guess it's the fact that person doesn't really know you, and they can provide insight that maybe your brother couldn't. Your brother might provide you with a solution that could be very, I don't know, but I'm trying to figure out a way to put it. But the underlying message there is that people, like random people that you don't know, tend to not judge you as much because they don't really know you.
Yeah.
So you feel that even when you're talking to them, you feel that, this person doesn't really know me, but I'm telling them all this. It's not gonna come back to me because they don't really know me.
know you. Yeah.
Versus a friend, your bestie. You tell your bestie and she'll probably be dramatic at first before she even offers you any solution. Like She'll be like, Joanne, oh my God, Joanne, why would you? Versus a random person that doesn't know you, they'll
Just-
listen to you and,
yeah.
and they'll be like, oh, okay.
Mm.
They might offer you advice, but again, it's that like aspect that they don't know. It's the fact that they don't know you.
Yeah.
You know.
I was thinking like it's much easier because like yeah, I mean the whole like you said they don't know you, so like okay, this person doesn't have a picture of who I am.
Yeah.
So I can easily
They don't
tell
have
them
a
this.
profile, exactly.
Yeah, so you can kind of not like create sort of an image, but like they will say it out of more of logic than actually knowing you. So they'll be like, okay, when I advise you, I'm saying it, hey, because I'm hearing this in this situation.
Yeah.
Let me advise you from a logic point of view instead of like, I know how you are, I know what you're gonna do, and that's how I would sort of take it. And the reason why I think I'm like, yeah, if I mean I'm not a person that opens up to anyone in general because I'm a very reserved person. But if like I were to say something that is like, I don't know if it's like deep or whatever to like for me or like really confidential, I would be more open to going and telling someone on the street than a friend. And also on top of that, I'm like, that stranger I'm never gonna see again.
There's that. The fact that like I'm talking this to maybe they're not gonna be around in my life for too long, so I know that they'll go with it,
Exactly.
Yeah,
So it's like, get the logic and then you're done.
And especially when they don't know your friends too or your family, so it's like it's easier for you because they're not gonna snitch, they're not gonna do anything.
That is
like it's gonna stay with them, So
That's true.
that's also that also makes it easier.
That's true. But so this one, I think now I'm actually curious to see what your side is. But are people becoming more self-aware or self-absorbed in 2025?
Hey, I don't think that I'm at a position that I can judge kwamba, these people are.
But like just observing the way, like not just like the people around you, but like if you look online and the way people sort of portray themselves, whether it's like celebrities or influencers or people in general that like do you think like their profiles whatever is becoming more self-aware or like just about them self-absorbed?
I think most people are self-absorbed.
Okay.
You look at social media. It's a place where most people talk about themselves. If you have your own profile, you're going to talk about yourself. You're not going to talk about others.
That's true.
You're going to talk about yourself. Who you are. You're going to post your own pics. Which, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but it lies more in the self-absorbed rather than the self-aware. Self-awareness is a bit different. It's a bit different because it requires that personal, like it's more of like a personal thing rather than a public thing. Versus self-absorbed is quite public. Like most self-absorbed people will show you that they're self-absorbed. Talk about themselves, post about themselves, think about themselves. Put themselves first. Which I'm not judging, but
it's just how the world is. Like you can't really be like, oh my goodness, like it's bad. Because I mean, in some cases it is bad. Some cases it's not that bad. But it's like it depends on what you're trying to put up there. Because if someone's like, let's say, celebrity or like influencer, obviously they're trying to brand themselves and they kind of have to put like their stuff out there.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying
there's not.
That's what it is at the end of the day. But
I mean, I didn't ask.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I didn't ask if it was like bad or good. I was just like, what do you think? Like with the way the world.
No, I'm saying that because people might take it that like, oh, these people are
judging and saying it's a bad thing. It's not.
Honestly,
guys.
No, it really isn't a bad thing. It's
just how the world works, and I mean, like
it can be a bad thing, but it doesn't have to be a bad thing.
As long as you don't take it to the extent of like you're just
extremes,
thinking about yourself.
There are
Because I mean, there are other like problems in the world, and it's like the world does not revolve around you. Like there's other people and other things there.
No one cares, honestly. Post yourself, do all that, but really, no one cares. His life
it's like, oh, okay, cool. And post another photo of themselves, but
exactly.
No, I think it's kind of both, because it depends. Again, it depends on which page you go to and the person. But I mean, because there's some people that if you look like on YouTube or on TikTok as well, kind of, you can see that people are more like self-aware and like posting real stuff and like stuff that are happening to them. And because I think
TikTok is stupid. TikTok is just full of idiots. Like,
you guys heard it from here first.
honestly, I'm just saying that TikTok people are just like crazy people. Honestly, personally, I'm on TikTok, but like I'm just saying, this is from my own experience. The things that you see on TikTok are crazy.
Oh no, they are. TikTok
They're
is. You have to be careful.
TikTok can be a very, it can be an educative place, but you need to like actually look for that education. Like you can't just.
Like, oh, let me go on there.
Yeah, like
and then
you log in, you're just gonna find stupid things.
No, that's true. I mean, it's because it's one of the platforms that you can easily get famous off of. So people are like, oh, let me just post anything.
I would say TikTok people are very. If you're looking for stupid content and trendy content, go TikTok. If you're looking for like, like that like lifestyle, like. Bougie content, and you're looking for creators, what else? Just that stuff. Go on Instagram.
Yeah,
lifestyle, content.
They're more on Instagram.
Classy. People on Instagram are a bit more classy, of course. But Yinga Bado Apple, like people on Instagram.
It's very few. Now, actually, think about it. Like, there's very few of them because I feel like people on Instagram.
They're there. You will never miss. Stupid people.
You can, but it's like it's less because I feel like people are more serious on Instagram.
Yeah, people are definitely more serious on Instagram.
And I think because a lot of companies and brands like look at Instagram, like for those creators, people are like, okay, we can't just play around on Instagram.
And then Facebook, I don't know, man.
Honestly, I cannot say anything about Facebook.
I'm really not even on Facebook like that. Like I deleted my account and I had to get an account again because Instagram and Facebook are like one now, something like that. I don't know, but Facebook is one of those what do you call them? Social media apps that I do not use.
No, I barely used it. So
I don't use it at all.
It's
my original account I deleted, and then I had to create a second account because of my Instagram. But I don't even use that. Like I don't go on Facebook. I just generally don't go on Facebook. Yeah. So I don't know what's happening on Facebook. I don't know what's happening on Facebook.
No, Facebook, I feel like, again, not trying to be like controversial, like, oh my gosh, but it's mostly for those older people, like our parents. And it's like has stayed in that sort of category. Yeah. And I mean, like, for me, I'm like, okay, I barely use it or I barely go on it. Just once in a while, but that's when I'm updated on every other social media. It's like, wait, I haven't checked Facebook in a while. Let me just look at it. And I'm only there for like 2 minutes and then I'm out.
Yeah.
But
Snapchat.
There's Snapchat as well.
Snapchat, I would say it's more of a like carefree fun. TikTok is also similar, but Snapchat is not as I guess it's more about I feel like Snapchat is more personal.
It is a lot more personal.
Snap is more like you give someone your snap, it's like you're okay. You can come into my.
You're in my inner circle.
Inner circle, yeah. I feel like that Snapchat is more that way. It's more like that one-on-one. It's a bit more intentional. I don't know.
Unless again, if you're trying to be an influencer.
Yeah, unless you're trying to be an influencer of Snapchat, then you're just gonna.
You have to make it, but then they have the option of like it being public or like you know how it has like when you post a thing, it says to friends or to everyone or to. Yeah. So it has the options of like you can do the whole privacy thing, but no, Snapchat is definitely more personal, and I don't really think a lot of influencers use it. Like I feel like
too many like the influencers that are on it. It's for some fans will get it. Some influencers just use it like another platform, but I think it's not as easy getting influencers Snapchat versus their Instagrams. Yeah, because Snapchat is just a bit more personal.
The next question basically says, what's something you've learned about people that has changed how you see the world? There better be something you've learned about people.
I've learned there's a lot. Picking one, that's the issue. Like, what do you think? I haven't learned anything about people. Like, in what? In these 20-something years plus?
of you
life.
living and growing older.
And I haven't learned nothing about no one. No,
That would be very interesting. Be like, are you
no,
really
no,
living
no,
then?
no, 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 no. Yeah, yeah. Are you alive? Do
You
you
sure?
interact? No, 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 no.
Well,
I'm trying to pick something that I've learned. I think something that I've learned is never place your faith in people.
trust.
Trust, yeah. Never trust. Never. As bad as that sounds, I'm realizing that sounds really bad, but
Mm.
for a good reason. Um, your trust is only supposed to be placed. At least for me, I'm a Christian.
Mm.
So for me, my trust is only in one person,
Mm.
God. That's it.
It's simple.
I learned that not to trust people because I think I used to be kind of naive. You know, I used to have faith in people that, hey, you know, like, hey, someone said they'll do this, so they'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said that they'll come through. This
Mm.
person said that they'll give me back my money, they'll give me back my money.
Mm.
This person, you know, like I just had that almost naive type of trust.
Yeah.
You know, like I was, I, now I'm not, but I used to be very, very, very trusting, like overly trusting.
Mm.
Yeah. But people have showed me that you shouldn't do that. You know, you shouldn't live life like that. Which is a good thing. I know it sounds bad, but it's actually a good thing.
It
like,
is actually.
Yeah, I've learned to be like cautious. You know, like someone's gonna walk into my life. I need to first understand them, really get to know them
Yeah.
before I say that, okay, I trust this person. I just believe people are good, you know. I did believe that people are just good, you know, like why should someone do this, you know, when they said they'll do this and they have no reason not to do it, you know. They said they'll do it, so they have no reason not to do it.
Yeah.
And it's within their power to do it. You understand? So you're just like, I trust them. But no, don't actually trust them. You know, like don't
You
trust.
can't do that.
They could have everything set right, but you know, you still can't trust.
You really
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
No, but that's. Were you like? Would you consider that like a people pleaser? Are you a people pleaser, or was it just? Actually, I don't know if it relates to that, but like, were you a people pleaser?
Was I a people pleaser? Maybe I was.
Or are you just not realizing that you're like, was I really?
I wasn't
Are we
really-
self-aware?
No, like it wasn't really people pleasing. It was just that I didn't have a reason not to trust people at that point. But when people like break your trust, then you're like, okay, so I can't trust people.
So you'd wait. You know, it's kind of like that phrase, like innocent until proven
Exactly,
guilty.
exactly. So I was like this person, as long as they haven't broken my trust, I'm going to trust them.
You're gonna trust them,
You
yeah.
understand? So it was like
Yeah.
that. Whereas some people come in, they're like, even if they don't know you, they just don't trust you. Even
That's
if you
true.
you are trustworthy, they don't trust you. Like,
They wait until they get to know you.
yes,
And they're like, okay,
exactly. Which I think is correct. Like you should wait till you get to know someone, even if they seem very trustworthy.
No, that's
just
true.
wait to get to know someone. Some people put up a front, you know,
Mm.
like they pretend to be trustworthy, and then
And then
you
when
trust. Yeah, and then
they go do other stuff, they're
Yeah.
like, wait, but I thought I could
So-
trust you.
exactly. So yeah, just don't.
So it's just mostly like experiences that you've had, like
yeah.
with. Is it like in all aspects, like family and friends, and or is it just like specific?
No. Let's get one thing clear. There are people that you can trust. It's not just everyone. Oh my God, I can't trust my parents. I can't.
No,
trust
I'm not
my-
saying like
my-
everyone, but
No,
I'm saying
no.
like.
I understand what you're saying, but like I just putting it out there that
Oh.
no, it's
Amani
it's people
trusts
that-
no one, so if you know him, he does not trust you.
No. It's people that you don't know. Like I'm talking about someone walks
You
into your
just
life.
met.
Yeah, like you meet someone at church,
Mm,
right?
mm.
As much as it is church, right? It's a play. I mean, really, you'd expect to trust someone that you're there. You maybe
Those are
even
the ones that hurt you the most.
Yeah,
which is
so-
very
so-
surprisingly.
yeah, like just it's that. It's different from family. Family, you can tell which ones to trust, which ones not to trust.
Okay.
You know, like time.
It
Showed
will
you that.
tell.
Yeah, time has shown you that these are the people you can trust. These are the people that you can't. Versus your boyfriend or your girlfriend.
those ones you kind of have to trust. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's like,
you
okay,
trust. I
I'm
mean,
building.
why are you in a relationship with them if you don't trust
If you
them?
don't trust them, like
Right?
literally, trust is the key
It's,
point.
it's the base of your relationship,
Pretty much,
right?
but
So yeah, so I mean, there are people that you can trust, and then I'd just say, like, apart from the ones the ones I think every person knows people that they can trust and people they can't, right?
yeah.
But I'm talking. These are at least the question. When I was thinking of it, I was thinking from a context of you don't know the person. Like I mean,
But
you're
here's the
in
thing,
church.
though.
Let's say you're in church, and you know.
But you could actually, the thing that's tricky with that is that you could be like, okay, I know this person, and we're good friends and we're close, and we'd say everything, and then it turns out they're the ones that you really can't trust.
Hey, there
It's also
there
those
are
situations.
mistakes. Yeah, there are mistakes. You think you can trust someone, and then they prove you wrong. You know, they
You're
prove
just like,
you.
wow.
Yeah, they prove you wrong.
Yeah.
And you're just. I mean, it's quite sad, but you know, those situations happen too. Like, it's not like because they're your friend you can trust them, or because they're your family you can trust them. There's some situations where you thought that you could trust this person, and they haven't done anything to prove themselves otherwise up until a specific point in your
Yeah.
life where you're just like, whoa.
Where did this come from?
I didn't know you were like this. Yeah, I didn't know that you were like this. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that
It
makes
happens.
sense.
There are exceptions to the rule, of course. But yeah.
But how does that change how you see the world, though? Like, is it just more of like for instance with me, like if I were to like answer that question, that would change the way I see like the world is more broken in a sense.
I think the world
Or-
has always been broken.
I mean, it has, but
I
obviously
can't say
over
it's
the years,
more broken. It's less broken. Who knows?
It's just broken in general.
It's broken. It's been broken for a long time. You know?
It is true.
Ever since sin entered the
world,
I mean, it's been broken.
Yeah.
I would say
Or it's just you're more like cautious.
aware. Yeah, I've just been more aware, more alert with people. You know, like I'm just like, okay, so you know, I'm not just gonna, you know, even I mean, I don't know how people see me, but though I see people, I'm like, okay, let's say you're new, you come in, I'll just be quiet, observe you, before I even talk to you. Like,
He actually does do that, by the way.
I'll just
I've
be-
noticed him doing it.
I'll just be quiet, observant, you know, just observe.
People be
the
like, "Oh, Amani is
situation.
so quiet and important."
Um,
No, he's not. It's just because you don't know him.
No, that's the other side, that people who don't know me don't know that I'm a whole, you know, vibe.
A whole personality.
Yeah. But if I don't know the person, if I don't know the group of people, I'd probably be quiet. I'd be very observant, learn, just like process everything, understand. I try my best to understand who these people are, who this person is, before I even like talk to them or engage with them. That's where I learn even more about the person. But it's just that I put, you know,
The barrier.
yes,
or
first I'm
whatever.
like, okay, let me want you. You know,
See
do your
what
thing,
you
do your
do.
thing first. Yes, do your thing, and then time will tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I did talk about forgiveness in one of my like episodes, but like when someone, I don't know, I feel like with people, do you think forgiving is hard? Like in a sense of like they do something and it's like, oh my goodness.
It depends on what they did. I think forgiving has, it's a subject. Oh, of course, it's subjective, but it's more of situational. That's the word I was looking for. It's situational. There are situations where you can forgive instantly, and there are situations where it's almost near impossible to forgive. You know?
But you have to as a Christian.
Yes, you have to as a Christian, but like I'm just saying that
It's hard.
the
yeah.
degree is different. It depends on the degree of what they did. Or is it something that you can forgive? Is it something that or finding it hard to forgive? I don't want to say impossible. Like you can't forgive, because if you can't forgive, there's no heaven for you as a Christian.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, that makes sense. I mean, I don't know, cause like, even like looking at it, I'm just like, okay, it's kind of hard to navigate people because everyone's so different, and everyone has different personality. And sometimes you're like, okay, meet this person, and then you don't clash. Like the vibe is not there, but it's like
Yeah.
not like a bad thing. Like, but then I don't. It's just I feel like this world and dealing with people, interacting with people, it's just you learn and find out so many things to a point you're just like, I didn't know that people could do this. Have you ever had that situation where you're just like, how I didn't know people, just humans, could do this, or like they could think this way, or they could just act this way.
I think like plenty of times I've thought that to myself. I'm just like, why? Yeah, like why would someone do this? You know, like it happens where you're just like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Like what possessed this person to do something like this or say something like this?
Mm.
You know? I think you probably know someone. You probably even have a scenario in your head of like a time where you're just like, oh, what? You know, you're just confused.
You're like, are you actually human? Because how do you think like this?
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Before, I don't know if you're going to continue. Before you continue, I remember this one time. I feel like this is going to stick in my head for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I do know the phrase, but I think my grandma sort of reminded me about it.
Yeah.
And there was this time where we were chilling in the room, and I think someone had pissed her off, like a person. And then out of nowhere, she's just like, Jojo, you know, common sense is not that common to people.
My mom says that a lot too. My mom says that a lot.
And then it stuck with me since today. So whenever someone like does something, I'm like, common sense is just not that common.
Yeah, it really isn't. Like, yeah, you know, surprisingly, common sense is not that common.
And I'm just like,
simple as that. Like people,
like something you're just like, this is literally common sense. Like it's not that hard to understand or to grasp, and people just
don't get it.
They just don't. So like literally ever since that day, it's just stuck to me. Whenever someone does something, I'm just like, how do you do this? I'm just like, Joanne, common sense is not that common to people. You might think like, what is going on, and the person thinks nothing about it because they're like, well, that's how my mind is. That's how it works. So it's actually crazy, like dealing with other people. But yeah, so how do grace? Okay, this question. Now I'm reading it. Do I really understand it? And I wrote it myself. Or I found it. How do grace and judgment show up in how people relate to each other?
First of all, I'm trying to even understand that question.
I know, I'm trying to be like, wait.
Grace and judgment. Grace and
show up. I think in senses of like.
Yeah, maybe expound.
Do I even know how to?
Yeah, like what do you mean by that? Because grace and judgment, like what type of judgment? Yeah,
I feel like any.
What type of judgment? Like is it?
I feel like just judging in general, like people just judging each other.
How does grace and judgment
show up in how people relate to each other?
I think they're on the judgment. When I think of judgment, I think negative.
I mean, it's
grace,
always.
I think positive. You know.
Yeah. So they're different.
Yeah, they're two different. You know, I don't know if they would show up in the same scenario. They could.
They actually
could start off by someone judging, and then at the end of the day, just maybe like realizing that this person is also a human being, and have some grace. They might have some grace towards that person, and just maybe back off a bit, lay off the judgment.
Yeah.
Maybe in that type of situation, yeah. But otherwise, I'm trying to think, and I'm struggling to think of how grace and judgment. Sorry, it's like a mosquito that.
Actually, okay, I'm gonna expose myself. So I just ChatGPT that question and said elaborate on this, because I honestly am like, how am I going to answer this? But it says, in everyday life, people constantly swing between grace and judgment, whether they're aware of it or not.
Yeah. So it's kind of like what we've been saying right now. Just it's on two different ends, but like you start out by judging, and then at the end of the day, you could have grace on that person. Like, maybe that situation, you start understanding the situation, you become more compassionate. But that's where maybe the grace comes in.
Yeah. That could work. I don't know. You guys, I'm sorry. It's probably the first time I've not properly answered a question because I don't get it. I promise I'll do better in the future. But I mean, okay, you can think about it, or if you have, Instagram, whatever, DM me and help us elaborate on that if you have an answer to that.
If you understand, please
Help us.
help. Maybe give your own example, right?
Yes, give an example
share an
and just
example.
what you think about it, because clearly I am no help, or we're not helping this question.
Honestly, I don't understand the question.
Yeah. What would change if people saw each other the way God sees them?
I think. No, that's quite a simple one.
Going from the question before.
Yeah, that's a simple one. If people looked at each other the way God sees them, they'd look at each other with love. Because God loves. He does not love.
Yeah.
He is love. So if you look at someone through God's eyes, you're looking at them with love. Versus if you look at them through your human eyes, I mean, if they're your parents, you love them, but even then, there are moments you just,
It's like,
like, especially when they mess up, and you just like, you're
just
done
like,
with
no.
them. Yeah. So if you look at people through God's eyes, it's going to be with love, not hate. Humans look at each other with hate.
With hate, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're not really. Because again, like you said, the whole sin and whatever came into the world,
100%.
so can't really look at each other love. But but if we looked at each other the way, I think it's sometimes hard to do it, but if we try to sort of look at someone the way God sees that person, I feel like it would make the world much more better, because again, there'd probably be no wars.
Yeah.
100%. But it's just the whole of like looking at the fruits of the spirit and looking at like reading the Bible and who God says he is, and it's like, okay, if I'm trying to be more Christ-like, and you're like, okay, who was Jesus, or who is Jesus?
Yeah.
And you find that he's gentle and he's kind and he's forgiving and compassionate. So I'm like, okay,
fruits of the spirit, right?
pretty much. Yeah, pretty much that. So it's like I want to see someone or be that way.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I think it would make it would definitely make the world a better place.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things here. Like, I think I've even thought about it sometime, like, even with, like, the whole how people don't like each other. Like, I get, like, the whole not vibing, because, like, you don't have to vibe with everyone. And, again, everyone's different. It's just people you don't vibe with.
Yeah.
But I was just, like, imagine if, like, everyone just loved each other. Like, the whole... Obviously, again, wars would not happen, because wars normally happen because two people are fighting against each other and they don't like each other.
100%.
And it's, like... Just imagining living in the world like that, I'm just like, that'd be great.
I think that's what heaven would kind of look like.
Oh, 100%.
That's a glimpse of heaven. It's just
100%.
if everyone just looks at each other with love.
That makes me like crave
give
just
you a glimpse of heaven.
Wanting to be in heaven even more. It's just like
I
I have a purpose in this world, and I know like God put me here, but it's like
you're still young. Relax.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying
you'll get
that
there.
I want to go to heaven. I think
get
everyone wants. Everyone wants. Don't you want to go to heaven?
I do, but in at the appointed time.
Oh, obviously, you were at the right time.
You look a bit excited to go right now. No, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just listening with you. There's nothing wrong with that. But just you gotta fulfill your destiny first.
Oh no, 100%. I mean, I'm not saying like I'm at a point where I'm like, God, I'm definitely like, not that I'm not ready, but I'm like, I still have stuff to work on myself, and again, even my relationship with God, for me to be like, okay, now I can. If I were to be gone now, I would be like, yes, I'm going to heaven. Which I don't. That sounds kind of bad, but it's like at the same time, it's like.
What? Oh.
Self-aware, I guess.
Okay, so you feel like right now it's not that you wouldn't be able to get in if you went right now.
Is that a bad thing to say?
No, I mean it's self-awareness. It means that you know where you're at spiritually with.
Oh, I actually saw this. I'm like, I definitely should ask this. Do you believe people are naturally good, or do we all have to learn how to be kind?
The Bible says that we're born of sin, so we're not naturally good. That's the answer right there. Like, we're not naturally good. We're naturally evil. We're naturally sinful. Yeah, you have to learn kindness. Kindness is something that only a righteous person, only God can show you, because you're naturally, your default is evil. Yeah.
That's a good answer. How do our personal wounds affect how we treat others?
How do our
Personal wounds
affect how we treat others? If you were, let's say you're in a relationship,
Okay.
and then your boyfriend cheats on you,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And you break up, right? You break up, and then you get into another relationship. You find another guy, and then you get into another relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That process of you getting to that relationship, do you think you will go in it? Let's assume that you've never been cheated on. This was the first guy that cheated on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you go in this second relationship with that same energy that you went in the first relationship?
Mm-mm.
Why not?
Because of your experience with the previous relationship.
So, personally, it does affect you. Like,
But like in a sense where like, okay, if you think about people who steal, I've come to realize like, okay, obviously what they're doing is bad, and I'm not saying like, oh, I'm justifying what they're doing.
yeah.
But I've come to realize through time that they have their own personal wounds, and that's why they're doing that. So that's why even like with this question, like, yeah, it does affect you because like, let's say you grew up in. What are you gonna say?
No, I'm thinking like stealing and personal wounds. I'm thinking like, I don't know what someone did to you for you to want to steal. I'll think that someone is stealing because they need to survive, right? They need to eat.
Which is personal wounds.
Life. Okay, maybe life hasn't been fair to them, or maybe they just couldn't, get, a job. They weren't able to get to a place in their life where they're able to secure something, and they've reached a point of desperateness. And that's why they steal. Like, I wouldn't say that.
But that's still personal wounds, because then not having a job and
some
reacting
people,
from
it's
that.
not a personal wound for them not to have a job.
Okay, yeah, some people,
yeah, some
actually
people are just
don't
happy.
try.
In fact, I know a lot of women that would be happy if they would, like, if they didn't have a job, if they didn't have to work to eat. You understand?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I feel like every woman would say that.
But yeah, so having a job is not as exciting for everyone. So some people like it, some people don't. Some people, I mean, maybe if you mean in terms of like just doing something that is able to bring you to help you earn money, whether it's having a job or doing business or whatever, then I'll be like, okay, that's different.
Yeah.
If they were never able to do any of that, it's tough,
That's true. Okay, that was probably actually a bad idea, a bad comparison. But like in a sense where, okay, I mean, you gave a good example of relationships, but I was more thinking of like, let's say for instance, you have childhood trauma or personal wounds from your childhood, whether it's from relatives or parents or even like friends growing up. I feel like as much as it shouldn't, and it kind of sucks, I feel like sometimes that's how you kind of like affects how you treat others, because now you're like, okay, I've had bad stuff done to me. Not per se, you kind of want revenge, but you're just like, I want people to feel the way that I felt so that they can see that this actually hurt me.
100%. It does affect you. Sorry, the mosquitoes.
It's dark, you guys. Yeah. Mosquitoes everywhere. It's fine.
I think it does affect you. Honestly, it really affects how you relate to others.
Because if you were treated nicely, obviously you'd be like, okay, like, because I was treated nicely.
No, all of you see that some evil people in this world, like they have the right upbringing. They were taught good things. They were taught the Bible. They were taught whatever religion, but they still ended up being evil.
No, that's a spiritual thing. That is more spiritual than it is anything else.
I personally think that life is spiritual.
Oh yeah, 100%. We're all
So
spirits.
even this, the question itself, it's spiritual.
It's
Like
more spiritual, yeah.
how someone treats you, it's spiritual.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot
So
of sense.
it's you can't really separate the spirit from flesh.
From yeah, it's like the whole like even treating people. I mean, it is sometimes hard because you're just like, how's this person? I guess so evil.
Yeah,
But it's like
it's a spirit.
it's
Yeah.
like you can't blame. I don't know if it's what you can't blame them, but you kind of it's more of like again, you just have to pray for them and hope, pray that
100%.
God sort of transforms their spirit
That
and
is the solution. Yeah, 100%.
and helps them. And I mean, there's some things that I think I've even talked about. There's some things only God can do. Like
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah, yeah,
transform someone's heart. Only
Yeah.
God can do that, and He will convict someone so much to the point that they will just sort of give up and be like, okay, yeah, God, I surrender in a sense. So in that case, you just like can't really do much about it besides love on them, because again, we're called to love and we're called to be followers of Christ and to love one another. Like what was that? Was it Matthew where who was the person that asked like Jesus, what's the greatest commandment or whatever? And it was like love the Lord your God with all your heart.
Love the Lord God and
all your heart. Love your neighbor as yourself. So it's like he literally said those are the two greatest commandments: is love the Lord your God and love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
So it can't really. And also the one that says love your enemies, do good to those who hate you.
Yeah.
Like it sucks and it's hard, and I understand that, but it's like for people who are trying to be more like Christ and are followers of Christ, you kind of have to practice it, and by time God will make it easier for you to actually act that when you be surprised that, oh, this just comes naturally to me.
Yeah.
But it's because you know God and God has helped you and given you strength through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if someone's like dealing with someone that's kind of hard to deal with or hard to
give me an example.
Be around.
I like examples. Give me an example.
In a sense where, let's say, am I giving examples or am I just doing... Okay, my life experiences are examples. But anyways, let's say they're in a sort of argument with someone. And they have their own mindset and the person has their own mindset. And it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, I get we're both different people and we both have different mindsets. But it's like... kind of how would they deal with someone that's different from them in that sense where I don't know how to explain it, but it's just more of like just dealing with different people. And you know how sometimes when you have someone that's not agreeing with you, you get frustrated, like, oh my goodness, like not like per se agreeing with you, but like they're just not getting it or getting where you're coming from, if that makes sense. So like how do you just deal with people who are in a case hard to deal with or hard to be in the same similar environment with? And
let me tell you something. I had to deal with something like that at my previous job. One of actually I shouldn't say that, but I've had to deal with such a similar type of situation where someone was. And this is someone that everyone knew that this person is difficult to deal with. Like it's just difficult, and you don't understand why. Like you just don't get it. Personally, I think I passed dealing with that person.
okay,
I think I passed. It was challenging because they were. I don't know how to put it. They were very, they could be two-faced, they could be mean, they could be nice, like, so you just never know where you are with them. You understand? Like no one really understood you understand, like when they would erupt or you know. It was almost like bipolar, but I wouldn't say that they were bipolar.
to that extreme, yeah.
No, not to that. They were just not bipolar. Like they were just. It was just their character. You know? Like so. dealing with that person was at first very difficult.
Mm.
I was constant arguments, but then later on I learned like I learned, why do I need to argue with this person? If you understand a person, you know that this person is difficult to deal with. Why do you need to deal with them? You understand? Like, you don't have to
That's
deal with
true.
them.
You could just
Let them do their thing. Let them be difficult.
Yeah.
You know, you just avoid, or why not say first pray to God, because that is a
100%.
spirit that is tormenting that person, and they don't even know it. But after that, you don't need to deal with that person. Like, they come in, like, you're put in a position where you're arguing with this person. Don't argue with that person. Let them think what they want to think. Pray for them, but let them think what they want to think. Like, why do you need? Because you already know that this argument is not going to lead to any.
Yeah.
So why waste that time?
Yeah.
You know. So it was just one of those things that after not arguing with this person for a long time, just avoiding those like little arguments, those when they were around, and you know, like, something's gonna get heated, like somehow you're going to be involved, avoid it, ignore it, just move away. If you need to go out, go out. You know. Eventually, me and that person had a good relationship. You know, they started being kind to me. Yeah, and up until I left work.
Like, you guys you ended on good terms.
Yeah,
Basically.
like, he was just cool. Like he was just another person. It wasn't. I almost. But anyways, yeah. So just. I can't say too much because I feel like if the wrong person sees this, then they'll be like, you know.
It's all good. No,
so
you
I'm
don't
just trying
have
to keep everything as discreet as possible.
No,
but
100%.
yeah, it's just yeah, but
just avoid if you can,
avoid, you know. At the end of the day, they'll get it eventually. Like, people, unless you're like, you know, you have like a mental issue, you don't understand things, then that's different. But most people will get it. They'll know that this person doesn't want to fight. This person doesn't agree with you, but wants to live in peace.
But what if, you know, there's some people that don't, like, what if someone comes...
They want problems. They don't want peace.
What is that? But no, in a sense where, what if you're like, okay,
then you
like...
give them problems. No, I'm just
You heard it here first, you guys. Go do that.
No.
According to Uncle Ringo.
Don't give them problems. I'm not condoning this. I'm not...
Violence is the answer, is what you're saying.
This podcast does not condone violence. Does not condone...
Problem making. We don't do that here, not in this house.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. It's probably one of those things, because I'm just like, you want peace and you try to avoid the situation, but the person comes later on and just like, no. They see it in a sense, it's like, no, we have to solve this issue, but you're just like, not that you don't want to, but you're just like, you don't see
the issue.
Not see, but you don't see the issue being solved, in a sense where, like, you just see the other person's just not gonna get it.
Now, why don't you see the issue being solved? Is it because you know the other person's not gonna get it, or is it because that you're not willing to move your stance either?
Anyways, we'll leave it there. That's
so both of you guys have strong opinions, and no one wants to move their opinion to understand the other. So I mean, of course, that's where horns get locked. Yeah.
But what if you've like got like, you're like, you know what, we're done with this conversation, you're literally at peace with it, but the other person's like, no, I'm not at peace. Like, you've literally moved on, like, in your heart, genuinely you've
But then
moved on.
the thing is that with those type of situations, I don't know. That's a very interesting.
It's hard to think
Yeah,
about.
it's quite difficult. It's difficult too, because
it's very hard.
I don't know. That's quite a difficult where they're forcing something that you don't want to talk about, like you're over.
Pretty
right?
much, yeah.
I don't know, man. That type of situation. I think eventually you'll either talk about it or they'll also let it go.
Okay.
Eventually, someone has to either you'll give in or they will, or they'll give up. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I mean, just think to a situation that maybe you went through and it was like that.
Why else would I say it if I didn't come up
Yeah,
with?
no, that's what I'm saying. Like no, like I'm like look at the solution. What
Yeah.
was the solution? Did you give in or did they give up? Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So I'm sure one of those two happened. It didn't just. So if it did die out, it means that person gave up. If you had to go back and talk about it, you gave in. You understand? So there's no neutral there. You'll either give in or give up.
Give in or give up.
Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, but so now it's because we kind of have to wrap this up. Especially because these mosquitoes are literally killing me.
Oh my god. I'm wearing slippers and these mosquitoes.
You guys don't understand. We've literally been
Feasting.
trying to
They are feasting.
suffering here, trying to
Yeah.
keep it cool as if we're not getting bitten by mosquitoes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have Bible verses that I'm gonna say, because again, eventually it all connects to Christ and to
Yeah.
Him. And so the first one is from Psalm 139:13-14, and it says, "For you created my inmost being; you knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made." And obviously, I think you know that verse. I feel like everyone knows that verse. But I think I chose it because, again, since we're on the topic of people, it's just more of just showing that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Like you, and it's not just us, but it's like we kind of have to see other people as well, like
Yeah.
that. Like they are fearfully and wonderfully made by God.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the next one is 1 Samuel 16:7, and says, "Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart."
Yeah.
And I find that like very, like, I think not even reading it, I'm like, I probably need to keep engrave that in my head.
Yeah.
Because that's will help a lot when it comes to dealing with people. It's like, okay, it looks more of like, what are the intentions of the person? Like, are they genuinely trying to solve an issue? Or are they genuinely trying to pick a fight? Like, what are they doing, basically? But yeah, and the next one is Proverbs 20:5, and it says, the purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out. It's actually an interesting one. Have I even seen this, Nani? The purpose of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out. I mean, if you understand.
Repeat one more time. Sorry.
This is
Mine
called
was a bit-
the purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out. What is your
That sounds very romantic and poetic at the same time.
poetic? It is.
I'm trying
It's
to
Proverbs.
understand it. It is. It is very Proverbs, man. Just
Proverbs 20
it
verse.
sounds very romantic and
Mm.
very poetic at the same time. But yeah, I'm trying to like really understand it.
Like, wait.
I need time to just like reflect on
Reflect
that
on it.
specific. I'm definitely gonna take time to reflect on that because I'm right now. I'm like
No, I'm actually reading it. I'm just like,
I'm baffled because I'm thinking like what Like,
what was
I
he trying
feel-
to say?
yeah, like I'm like
Or it's because that's the different. I mean, the other versions probably have it much more clear than this one. It's definitely something. I think even after this, I'm probably gonna look at it and be like, wait, what does this mean? 'Cause it's actually really, like, it's deep, but it's like, how can I understand this sort of verse? But yeah, and then the last one is Proverbs 14:29, and it says, "Whoever is patient has great understanding, but one who is quick-tempered displays folly." Or I think it's supposed to be folly, but I think it is folly. I don't really know what folly means.
I think
But
I agree with that because with patience, at least maybe let's say you're getting to know someone, right? Or getting to know a group of people. When you're patient, what to me patience looks like observing, taking time to actually know these people. Don't just jump into as exciting as that group of friends or that person or those people may be, but just like that, observe first, like look, watch how people interact,
Yeah.
understand them, you know.
Mm. And then
It brings understanding, yeah. That brings you understanding. You learn so much about people when you take time to just, you know.
be patient with them.
Yeah.
And
Take your time, be patient, go
Yeah.
slow.
Yeah.
Don't just dive in. You know, you just met this group of people, dive in. No, take time.
In this world, you can't do that. I don't think it's
100%.
smart to dive in.
I mean, no, people do it. Like, people get excited about other people and they just dive in.
Yeah.
Which, it's more common than you think, actually. It's much more common than you think. Most people don't take time to actually know other people. But dive in, they just jump right in. Like, oh, okay.
Just hope for the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically it. I hope you guys learned a lot from Uncle Ringo, the wise one in the group.
I don't know about
No, he's pretty wise. No, if you actually, I think
I
because you're
appreciate
pressured into actually
I was pressured into actually.
into answering these questions. So it's just like, do I really know what I'm gonna say or whatever? But no, like I hope you guys actually learned at least one thing from him and understood what he said
I hope people learned something
about
at
other
least
people.
Even one thing, you know, just about people. Yeah.
Yeah, and how to deal with people and how to get about with it. But yeah, if you guys have anything else to say, or if you have insights on people in general or behaviors, the way they act, you can try and reach me whenever you can. Which I'm actually thinking about. I'm like, how? You can comment down below and let me know.
You can email her at Joanne.
Actually, probably could. I will put my email down below.
Don't email her. Just comment. You're a normal person.
I mean, if you have my number, you can send me a text message. If you have my Instagram, send me that as well.
Her number is 07.
It's so funny.
I don't know her number. How this is.
That's actually funny. But anyways, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks so much for coming through.
Appreciate it.
After a long time, if you guys knew how long this was supposed to happen.
It was, honestly, it's been a long time coming.
It has.
We planned this, I don't know, I can't even remember the last time we talked about this, but it finally happened.
Finally.
I thank you for inviting me to your podcast.
Of course.
This was nice. It was lovely. I didn't know any of the questions beforehand. I'm just answering off the top of my head.
Which is good because it's real and authentic and it's raw. It's your mind there and then. You didn't have to prepare for anything, which sometimes, I mean, it can sound kind of bad because it's like, oh my goodness.
Because I'm a person that likes to prepare.
Yeah, I know.
So it's just, it feels a bit, I feel like if I had prepared maybe a bit better,
then you would have answered it
more
better and more understanding.
Maybe I would have given something that could have been like,
actually
more, valuable.
But I know for a fact you guys learned something from him. Just at least one thing. Comment down below if you have. So. Just please, I know
just
you guys won't do it.
One thing that
you've learned.
Yeah,
Make us feel happy about this. Know that we're actually doing something and teaching people something.
Yeah. It was lovely. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Of course.
It was an interesting topic. I've never talked about people.
Well, honestly, now, I think I kind of had an idea of what I was going to do going into this, but then I didn't know what it was going to get into. So I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
It was just fun. It was nice.
It was.
Just to talk about people.
But
yeah,
be careful how you say that.
No, people in general, you guys. We didn't specify any names.
Yeah, no.
We did not do that.
We're not talking about specific people. No, it's just people.
I mean, we're saying from our experiences, but we're not going to specify those.
Yeah,
those
that's an interesting topic for a podcast. People.
But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for watching if you're watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.